world where confidence is key to success, Noyonita Lodh stands as an inspiring example of what's possible. Crowned Miss India in 2014 and representing the nation at the Miss Universe pageant, Noyonita has spent over 13 years mentoring and training women through her transformative workshops, Confidence Code. These workshops empower women to discover their unique potential by focusing on personality development, grooming, and confidence building. Noyonita believes that a confident, well-groomed woman who can communicate effectively can create endless opportunities for herself in both personal and professional spheres. Her expertise spans across pageantry, international training, and workshops for mothers and working women, with one common goal: to help women step into their power and unlock their full potential. We can't wait to hear her speak about her journey and the impact of Confidence Code at BNMIT Symposium.
Okay, wow. Thank you for having me here, and thank you to each one of you for taking your time out and giving me your complete attention. So today, I'm here to speak about a skill that not only propelled me to represent my country on a global stage and start a successful entrepreneurial journey, but it's also a skill that data clearly from a lot of research has proven to be one of the most important skills to get success in your social, personal, and professional life. It's a skill that is extremely essential across all fields, and yet it is often overlooked in fields like tech, finance, and engineering. Any guesses what this skill could be? Anyone? Can anyone guess what I'm talking about? Okay, someone's saying confidence. Any other answers? Okay, so the skill that I'm speaking about is EI, emotional intelligence, or EQ, also known as emotional quotient. And now you might ask me, I've known and read about IQ, which is intelligent quotient, but why is EQ important and what is it? Now, mind you, I'm not speaking about being emotional, right? That's a big misconception a lot of people have when they hear this word, because they stop at the word emotional and they're like, oh, if someone is extremely expressive or vulnerable or just emotional in general, they probably have a high EI, which is emotional intelligence, and that's not true. Okay, so EI is a research-backed competency that is crucial and essential across all fields for the success of your social and professional life. I would like to first start with the difference between IQ and EQ. Right? IQ, as we all know, and of course, all of you all are really smart, that's why you're in this college. IQ is intelligent quotient, which basically means your cognitive abilities, right? So things like logic, problem solving, anything that is specific to your job requirement, as well as academics. Now we know that. What is EQ? EQ is your emotional quotient. That means understanding, recognizing, managing, and influencing not just your emotions, but the emotions of the people around you. To manage successful interpersonal relationships as well as make decisions. Because the part of the human brain that deals with emotions, for the people who have it damaged due to an accident or by birth, they actually find it hard to make the right decisions in life. That's how important EI really is. Okay, and now I quickly want to do a small exercise with each one of you. I request each one of you to actually do it. I want you to take your hands and take one palm and place it on your heart center, where you can feel your heart beating. And yes, boys, I would like you to do it as well. I can see all the girls doing it. I want everyone to do it, okay? Now, as you have your palm on your heart center and you can feel your heartbeat. I request each one of you to close your eyes. Okay. And now I'm going to ask you a question, a very common question, yet a question that is hard for some of us. Keep your eyes closed, feel your heartbeat, and answer this question. How are you truly feeling? I'm going to give you some time. The question is, how are you truly feeling? Great. Now you can open your eyes. Most of us only know 3 to 4 emotions. Happiness, sadness, hunger, anger, that's about it. Right? And some of you might have answered that way as well. You might have just said, I'm feeling okay, or I'm not feeling okay. And that is because as we're growing up in school, teachers, parents, what do they ask us to focus on? They ask us to focus on academics, getting good grades, excelling in sports, as well as probably learning a few languages and knowing how to play a musical instrument. Eventually, life comes down to finding a job that can pay your bills. Nobody, and I repeat, nobody, not even our parents or teachers or mentors, ever teach us how to manage emotions to our advantage. Emotions being the core of being a human being. And you can use those emotions to your advantage. I have another question for each one of you. How many of us here think that any negative emotion, if you ignore it completely, or if you just don't pay attention to it, or if you just don't know about it, it'll go away? Raise your hands if you tell yourself that if you don't feel like this, it'll go away. Great. There are, I think, a lot more of us who actually do that. Right? We know we're feeling extremely sad or disappointed or jealous, or it could be anything, right? And we tell ourselves, listen, this is not how I am supposed to feel, and we move on with our lives. But that's not how emotions work. Any emotion, any prolonged emotion, when suppressed and hidden and just dismissed, gets stored in the body. And stored emotions manifest in negative ways. They manifest in form of chronic illness. They manifest in form of anxiety. They manifest in form of aggression, anger. They can manifest in forms of so many different toxic behaviors that you and I might not even be consciously aware of. Right? So now I want to show you, I want to demonstrate something for you, okay? This is how you appear, okay? The sheet of paper is how you appear in your personal relationships, right? And now someone who has never worked on their emotional intelligence and they go through a breakup, for example. Suppose they're betrayed and lied to, and you can't speak about that to your parents, and obviously you can't speak about it to a lot of your friends. So you just keep it within you. Then you probably have family members who are extremely judgmental of you or are extremely strict, and you allow that perception to start affecting you. Now, when you go get into a relationship with somebody else, because of your past traumas that you didn't deal with, you become someone who's emotionally avoidant, probably a liar or a cheater, XYZ. And eventually, this is how you show up in your personal relationships. The crumples on this paper are your toxic behaviors, or are those suppressed emotions which you're not really consciously aware of. Okay? Now, let me show you, demonstrate what low emotional intelligence can do in your workplace or in your professional life, right? Now, you are this amazing, hardworking individual. You are the rubber band, okay? You have graduated from this wonderful college. You have amazing academic qualities. You deserve the job that you've got. And if your IQ balances with the EI, emotional intelligence, any stress that you face, you will always snap back to being the productive, successful person you are meant to be, right? But if your EI is low and it is something that you've never worked on, what's going to happen is this rubber band, as you face financial debt, as your boss probably shouts at you someday, or maybe you just have crazy deadlines that you have to meet, right? What is going to happen is you're going to eventually snap. You're actually going to snap eventually, right? So now that it's clear what the lack of emotional intelligence can do to us, let's get to the main point. How do we become emotionally intelligent? These are 6 steps that I'm going to share with you, which each one of you can take back. You can start doing it right now. It's free of cost. And if you diligently do it, watch your life change. The first step is, please acknowledge your emotions. Acknowledging does not mean you need to get on a call with a friend or cry and speak about it consistently. Acknowledging just means, hey, I'm stressed and it's okay. Hey, I'm nervous and it's okay. Hey, I'm depressed and it's okay. Acknowledge it. Give yourself the power to allow yourself to feel. Second is become empathetic. Empathize with yourself as well as the people around you. If somebody comes to you with a problem, hold space for them. Learn to start listening rather than just hearing what the person is saying. And when you are empathetic to the people around you, you automatically become easier and more empathetic with yourself. The third step is find the origin of your emotion. Now, I'll give you a small example to this. Hold your thought. This is the third point, which is finding your origin of every emotion. When I won Miss India, of course, after you have a crown on your head, you feel you're the ultimate, you deserved it. And then your world opens. As a 19, 20-year-old girl, your world opens to the winners of 88 other different countries. Winners who are built different, who have had different experiences, who have had different training. And contrary to what people believe, pageants are not just about the way you look. Pageants are about how you inspire others. Pageants are about how you can be poised and graceful in stressful situations, how you can use that platform to make a change, and whatever change that might be. So coming back to my experience, once I was going for Miss Universe, I realized there were so many girls way better than me. Right? And what is our natural knee-jerk reaction to walking into a room where everyone around you is either more successful, more fitter, more richer? What is our knee-jerk reaction? We're usually always feeling jealous. Right? Jealous is a common word that I can use. Now, if your EI is strong and if you've worked on your emotional intelligence, you can turn that emotion and become aware that usually jealousy comes from feeling inadequate. When the person sitting next to you is scoring more than you, use that as a motivation to, like ma'am said, constantly learn. Right? Because constantly learning is a foundation of emotional intelligence. The girl next to me is way fitter or is way more intelligent than me. I'm not going to go back with jealous feelings and put my self-esteem down. Instead, I'm going to use that as a motivation to learn what I don't have that someone else does. Right? So that is how you find the origin of every emotion that you are feeling that probably is negative. Fourth point, accept your emotions. No emotion is good or bad. You cannot have positive emotions if we did not have the negative ones. And people who tell you that, oh, you should always be happy, you have a roof over your head, you're going to college, why aren't you the happiest person? You don't need to be the happiest person. You do you. For whatever reasons you are not feeling the best, accept it. Okay? The fifth point is offloading. Now, we as humans, even if we're not expressive, we have all of these emotions boiling within us. And the best and the safest way to offload all of that is to journal. Now, I'm sure a lot of the boys here, I'm not being gender biased, but girls tend to keep journals. Most boys don't. So no problem. What you can do is just take out your phone, and you don't have to do it regularly. The day you're feeling extremely numb or extremely stressed out, take your phone out and word those emotions. Decompress yourself. Right? So that is how you offload all of those emotions in the safest way without projecting it onto other people. And the sixth point and the last point is, if you follow these 5 steps, what's going to happen is it's going to become easy for you to handle emotions. Please remember this quote. It's not about what you feel, but how you react to your feelings. An employee or an intern under you is pathetic in their work. Instead of showing that anger, be angry. You have a right to, but manage it in a more productive way. That's what handling emotions means. I'd also like to share emotional intelligence used in professional settings, right? Indra Nooyi, who is the CEO of Pepsi, what did she do? She wrote letters to the parents of her top executives, saying what? Showing her gratitude for their children's contribution and what they were doing in the company. Now, this is a perfect example of using emotional intelligence to build relationships, even though she was at such a high position. She connected with emotions. Another example that I can think of is Satya Nadella, who is the CEO of Microsoft. He has a son named Zain, who was born with cerebral palsy. And that taught him how to be empathetic to other people's problems. Right? And how did he use that in his professional setting? He took empathy, and he states this in his book called Hit Refresh. He attributes the success and the collaborative nature of Microsoft's innovation and success to the use of emotional intelligence skills. So you have proof there of how important it is even in your profession. Basically, what I'm trying to tell each one of you is whether you want to be a leader, whether you want to be a better partner in your romantic relationships, or whether you want to be the next tech entrepreneur. Remember this. Emotional intelligence is your superpower in a world where tech and AI is taking over the world, right? And if you master emotional intelligence, which is core of being a human being, you're not only going to survive, but you're also going to thrive in this competitive world. And before I end this very long talk, I would like to end with a quote from Simon Sinek. He says, leadership, can I get everyone's attention? Leadership is not about being in charge. It is about taking care of those who are in your charge. Thank you.